How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be talking about Mesut Özil and the possibility of him leaving Arsenal. We're going to be looking at the Premier League and who benefits from games being played behind closed doors. And lastly, we're going to look at the Bundesliga because games are now in jeopardy after Solomon Kalou broke social distancing rules at training.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is the Premier League and who would benefit from games being played behind closed doors. Now, Project Restart could complete the season behind closed doors, but which teams does that affect the most? Premier League clubs remain committed to finishing the current season, but this will only be possible if 8 to 10 neutral venues are used to play the remaining fixtures. Now, one of those venues as well is the Emirates, but of course, with it being a neutral venue, Arsenal wouldn't be able to play any games there. Strange as that may sound. But which clubs would gain or lose if the league resumes in empty stadiums? A Sky Sports study found Premier League teams were 14.6% more likely to win if they played at home this season compared to results on the road. The key reason for the advantage is almost certainly the influence of home fans in addition to less travel and more familiar surroundings. So again, that was something that I was pointing out yesterday about familiar surroundings. That even if you're playing behind closed doors, but you're in your home, it's a lot more easier than if you're playing at a neutral venue. Rock bottom Norwich City have collected nearly 3/4 of their points at home, averaging more than 1 point per game at Carrow Road, but only 0.4% on the road. Aston Villa still have a realistic chance of avoiding the drop, but rely heavily on home form, along with fellow relegation battlers Bournemouth, Watford and Brighton, as have Spurs in their hunt for European qualification. Conversely, Southampton, Chelsea and Wolves are the only clubs to perform better away from home, while Sheffield United have received only a marginal boost at Bramall Lane during their sensational campaign. So what they've done is that they've looked at home games, how many are left and everything else. And Aston Villa and Manchester City have the most home games left, 6 apiece with 4 away. Arsenal and Sheffield United have only 4 games at home with 6 away. I'm actually quite happy about that because our away form has been dreadful. Although saying that, we haven't actually lost an away game since Unai Emery was manager. So even under Freddie Ljungberg and Mikel Arteta, we haven't lost away from home. So maybe we're turning a bit of a corner. If you're looking at the top end of the table, Sheffield United and Arsenal would of course be the biggest benefactors with 6 trips on the road remaining, boosting their challenges for European qualification. Cling on to anything right about now. That's exactly how that feels. Sheffield United would avoid opposition fans at Newcastle, Manchester United, Burnley, Leicester, Southampton and Aston Villa, but lose support for decisive home games against Tottenham and Wolves. So yeah, that's a bit of an interesting one as well. Arsenal have suffered on away days and would benefit from absent crowds at Manchester City, Brighton, Southampton, Wolves, Villa, rival Spurs, but would also be without fans for their home game with Liverpool. Chelsea could lose an edge in crucial games against Manchester City and Wolves scheduled for Stamford Bridge, while Spurs still have home games to play against Manchester United and Arsenal. So yeah, that's a bit of a mad one when you think about it. And you look at some of the big derbies and decisive games left to play. Spurs, Manchester United, Everton, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Manchester United, Sheffield United, Aston Villa against Wolves, Sheffield United, Tottenham, Man City, Liverpool, West Ham, Chelsea, Sheffield United, Wolves, Tottenham, Arsenal, Arsenal, Liverpool, West Ham, Watford, Bournemouth, Southampton, Liverpool, Chelsea, Chelsea, Wolves, Leicester, Manchester United. That's mad when you reel those games off. The magnitude of some of those games. You know, places in the Champions League, Europa League, you know, even survival in the Premier League. And it rests on these games and you won't have any fans there. That's mad. Crystal Palace and Bournemouth have the toughest run-ins with remaining opponents averaging 8.2 in the league table. Bad news for Eddie Howe's side, who currently sit in 18th. Aston Villa, Brighton and Sheffield United also have tough schedules. So, you know what, looking at that and you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't think anyone's going to get an advantage if they're not playing at home in front of their fans. I think that at a neutral venue, it kind of evens things out a little bit. And it may well just be down to quality on the day. But they're going to be so difficult. And like I've stressed so many times, I feel that the only reason why they're getting these games done is not because, the integrity of the league, for example. It's because they need the money. They want the money, not because they want to finish these games. And everybody, within the position of power misses the game so much. No, they miss the money. It's as simple as that. And I've said it already. Why don't you just void the season, give Liverpool the title, and then we go again next season in August, September, whenever it may be. But yeah, it's interesting when you look at that. And, as an Arsenal fan and Sheffield United as well, you've got to be looking at that and thinking, you know what, 6 games away from home in the final 10, and you might not have to play those. And Arsenal, especially when you look at where we've got to go and some of the games we've got to play. And I suppose the only real big game at home out of that last 4 would have been Liverpool. So we lose that kind of advantage. But then when you look at the results of Arsenal-Liverpool over the last few years, hardly an advantage, is it? So maybe playing away from home will actually do us good. Next piece of news involves Mesut Özil and the possibility of him leaving Arsenal. Now, for all of you Mesut Özil haters that are thinking this could be something now, this is more to do with the fact when his contract expires at the end of next season. But Mesut Özil's close friend and Turkish TV host Akun Ikali claims that Fenerbahce are the favourites to sign the Arsenal playmaker should he leave on a free. And when I say should leave on a free, that's of course if Arsenal don't offer him a new contract. But at 350 grand a week and his age and everything else, there's no way Arsenal are offering Mesut Özil a new contract. They wanted rid of him a year ago. They can't wait for that contract to finish. The German is the Gunners' highest paid player, but was linked with an Emirates move last summer. His 350 grand a week wages made finding a buyer difficult despite interest from Fenerbahce and some of their Super League rivals. But with Ozil's contract winding down, Arsenal need to make a decision on whether to extend his current deal or sell it. And Inkali, who himself is a Fenerbahce fan, claims that good things will happen. I'm not in a position to give details, but I know our president is also working hard for this. When his contract with Arsenal will expire, the favourites would be Fenerbahce. We are also working on that front. I really wanted to tell you in more detail, but I cannot. We'll talk about these things when the time comes. So this is nothing right now. We know that Fenerbahce were interested in Mesut Özil and they'd love to sign him, but there's no way they're going to pay his 350 grand a week wages. And the fact that he's got a year left on his contract, they're not going to match those wages and they're not going to pay a transfer fee. They'll look to get Mesut Özil on a free transfer and try and negotiate some sort of wage deal. But I can't see him paying 350 grand a week. Absolutely no chance. But yeah, like I said, to the Mesut Özil haters, it doesn't mean now, this instant, and he's going. This is more when his contract expires. And like I said, I can't see Arsenal offering a new one. Absolutely no way can I see him offering a new one. They clearly want to get rid of him. And we'll wait and see. But I'll tell you something, if he does leave before the start of next season, I will be very, very shocked. Now, the last piece of news involves the Bundesliga. And Solomon Kalou has broke social distancing rules. And there are at least 10 tests for positive coronavirus. German football authorities say 10 individuals from the country's top 2 divisions have returned positive coronavirus tests. That's a massive, massive blow. When you think that the Bundesliga were leading the way and showing everybody how we can get back to playing football. But with 10 players testing positive, how can you possibly go back to playing football? I really don't get it. But the potential return of the Bundesliga is under increased scrutiny after Hertha Berlin forward Solomon Kalou posted a Facebook video of himself ignoring social distancing measures. The former Chelsea player was seen shaking hands with Hertha Berlin teammates and interrupting a medical check-up on another. He has since deleted the video. The images have been called unacceptable by the German Football League, which has been working towards restarting the football season later this month, subject to government approval. Hertha Berlin have suspended Kalou with immediate effect, saying the player had shown behaviour that is either inappropriate to the situation nor corresponds to the rules of the conduct of the club. The Bundesliga club said the incident came after the team returned negative tests for coronavirus, which Kalou reacted to by shaking the hands of teammates, contrary to the instructions from medical staff. So yeah, look, listen, that's mad. Despite the fact that they've all been given negative results, you can't be then posting videos on social media, walking around and shaking your teammates' hands and stuff. And you've got to sit there and just think what goes on in their heads. Honestly, absolutely moronic when you think about it. And I have nothing against Solomon Kalou in any way, shape or form. This was a player that was linked with Arsenal, I think, every transfer window about 6, 7, 8 years ago. But look, you can't be doing that. And the fact that positive results are now coming back with players in the Bundesliga, it doesn't bode well. And things like this, it's not good. And Hertha Berlin, they've, come down on him like a ton of bricks, suspended him and everything. And yeah, I suppose that's the only way that they're going to be able to move on from this. Because if they don't act as though they're doing something, then everybody's going to be a bit upset, and you're going to probably end up with more punishment, maybe from the leagues and whatnot. So they've had to act. They've suspended him, and we'll wait and see whether, he will be allowed back to play or not. But very interesting story, and I'll be keeping an eye whether any more positive tests come up in the Bundesliga and whether this affects the Bundesliga starting again. But yeah, it's not great, that's for sure. So yeah, that's it. There we go. That is all for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think of today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. I'll see you lot soon. I'm out of here.